What's the most morally incorrect thing you've ever considered doing? Not wishing you a happy cake day. Where I work has a fish tank. All I have ever wanted to do is grab one and throw it against a wall. Breaking someone's jaw and nose. He packed his stuff from our apartment and left a heartbroken me all laughing and whistling for a young girl. The disrespect nearly made me lose my temper and my career as a lawyer. I wouldn't call that morally incorrect at all actually. Internet piracy. I'm sick of all of the good content being broken up across streaming services. I thought this thread was only about things we've considered doing. And I thought it was about immoral acts. I was tempted when there was a whole wallet full of cash just laying around the elementary school playground. But me and my brother decided against it and returned it. Using orange juice instead of milk for cereal, and then eating it after brushing my teeth past bedtime. And then after eating your cereal, going swimming right after, not waiting an hour to do so. Probably smacking my biological mother across the face. In my defense, she's probably the worst person I know. Running a drug cartel, for sure. Basically I'll just follow the plot of The Purge, the first one. I'll leave the rest to your minds. Taking our neighbor's stuff and throwing it in a dumpster. Fear trash people. Take mine too while you're at it. When I had my GTA 5 phase, I considered stealing a bicycle so I could sell it to the local bike thief. Contemplation took so long that the owner eventually returned. I feel that if I answer this, I will end up in some sort of wild list. Now you have me really curious. It's not like some FBI agent is going to come across this commenter thread, spill the beans. Nice try, FBI agent. But you will never get it from me. You realize that now we are all going to jump to the worst possible conclusions? When I was younger I always considered burning my house down whenever my family moved cause I hated it so much, never got around to it though. Yikes, I thought about it and scared myself. I'm glad I'm stable enough not to do things I consider. My friends and I were leaving a bar when a dude scammed us. Him and his two friends were hanging out outside and he pretended that we hit him with our car. Then his friend threatened us and said unless we gave him $40 he would call the police. My friend gave him the money. I would go back to that bar and hang out in the parking lot waiting for that guy with weapons in my car. My plan was to mutilate him. I never saw him again and realized I would likely ruin my own life to ruin his. Wasn't worth it for $40 and he was human garbage anyway. I have though a lot about revenge and it is never worth it. Just live well and find happiness and their boots are never on your neck anymore. Anyone seriously plan on killing someone? Someone already said this but yeah, suicide. Torture as punishment and for pleasure. I would probably not do it, however, definitely not condone it. I have a student I sometimes wish would just get punched in the face by a peer. He's not going to learn to shut his mouth until it happens. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I always daydream or imagine a killer chasing me and then suddenly going and turning against them and torturing them. Like if I found a gun I'll shoot their kneecap or ankles so that they can never hurt or chase anybody again. Starting a fight. The fight isn't what's morally incorrect, it's who with, like school officials, that are okay with dehydrating their students, or try to keep guardians and others like that from seeing the kids they're trying to pick up. Realizing my abusive ex had taken a deliberate overdose when he was shouting me because he had collapsed. Very tempted to pretend I hadn't heard and go out for a few hours. I phoned for paramedics instead. Looks at list of kinks, yeah, you don't want to know. I got into a super bad nostalgia trip about Skate 3. I had the game, but no Xbox or PS3, so I considered stealing my friend's out of his closet. Felt pretty bad over that one. Randomly saying happy cake day. Happy cake day. Anything I say here can and will be used against me. Homicide. From my time with anger issues or the times where someone absolutely deserved it. Would being a getaway driver count? We had a bird somehow manage to find its way through our vent and into our walls inside our apartment. Maintenance had to go through our closet wall to get it out. Before they could do that, I spent many sleepless days night shift wondering how I could best climb up the wall, reach into the vent, and slaughter the birds myself. School on the 4th floor has giant windows that open wide, with pavement underneath. I often consider cannonball jumping out of them, or taking someone with me. This depends on what you define as morally wrong or right. If you mean, based on society's norms or what the general population thinks, then most of my thoughts would be considered wrong. But I don't think of wrong or right like this. I think if I killed that man I'd most likely be in prison, and him being annoying isn't equal to prison, so he won't be killed. Nothing is really wrong, it's just consequences outweigh each other. Giving someone laxatives, afraid to say anything else, haha. Walking into office works for the sole reason of using their pens to finish off a letter when I forgot my own pen. Ended up walking around the plaza for half an hour looking for a "hey, can I help you" from literally any employee. Love me some social anxiety. This was actually yesterday, so I was driving home from school with my moped, and then there were these 3 bikers and they were biking in the middle of the lane, and 2 of the boys went to the side while the other one was still on the lane, so that I couldn't pass. I told to myself, if he doesn't watch out I'll drive over him. I didn't do it. I still wish I did, because I hate that kid. Getting rid of my sister's dog. Not in a bad way, but I debated on leaving said dog at a shelter, but the ones around here are not going to take him, and the ones that do, might put him down. As much as she loves the dog, and is super attached to it, it's an Instagram puppy. She constantly takes pictures of it. No one feeds it on time, he only gets walked rarely, and so on. Has a husky mix and has stuck outside in a part of the yard he has some space, and he howls because he's lonely. I know going behind her back is morally incorrect, but I think saving the dog is a better idea. I could also take him with me and give him to someone else, if possible. Unless he gets better cared for.